Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for the Eastern Minority Supplier Development Council's webinar with the USDA. We are so happy to have you here today. We look forward to bringing you this kind of programming to help you with your business, to do business with more, not only corporations, but government entities such as those represented by USDA. I'm Tristina Cash, Executive Vice President for EMSDC, and on behalf of our President, Brian Oglesby, we welcome you here today. I'm going to give a short introduction to Dr. G, and I'm going to let him take the floor. So that he can not only give his presentation, but so that you can also engage him in the Q&A that will be managed by my colleague, Aaliyah Bunch, Director of Programs. She's responsible for bringing this together today. Dr. G is currently the Small Business Coordinator for the United States Department of Agriculture, Food and Nutrition Service. He reviews contracts and acquisition plans, market research, and other documents to determine if small businesses were appropriately considered for competition for government contracts and subcontracts. He also teaches and trains small business topics for U.S. government agencies, private companies requesting action, and for HBCUs through outreach activities within the DMV area. He has 30 years of experience in management, supervision, and leadership as a former airman and soldier. He's worked in aerospace management while in the United States Air Force and taught as an adjunct while in the Air Force. He's knowledgeable on small business management with over 25 years of experience working in leadership and management as a business owner himself, employee, or business and business law for the U.S. government and in private practice. He also served with the United States Small Business Administration as a commercial loan assistant and disaster loan assistant. He received his DBA with a minor in international business, a postgraduate LLM International Law of Stetson Law School in Gulfport. And we are very happy to bring him here today to speak with you. Dr. G.
Good morning, Ms. Cash. Good morning to all of the attendees today and to this great organization. It's my absolute pleasure to be able to communicate to all of you today the great benefits that exist when you take the opportunity to apply for contracting opportunities with the federal government generally and with the USDA specifically. And as said, I'm with the USDA Food and Nutrition Service, and we have a lot of opportunities for you and your businesses. So I want to make sure that you know them and that you can help me to help you engage in these opportunities so that we can expand our vendor base and give more opportunities to small businesses. Now, so I'm the primary small business coordinator. Mrs. LaShawn Thompson, who's a new MBA and who's also adept at the program, is my colleague. And so she's also a point of contact. So on the slides that you'll receive, there'll be my email and her email, and I want you to feel free to contact either of us with your questions. Next slide, please. So my purpose today is I want to meet you where you are. That's important. A lot of times, governmental organizations or businesses will say, we're not getting appropriate attention, or folks aren't working effectively with us, but they're waiting for people to come to them. Well, I'm coming to you. I have opportunities. There's money for funded contracts for this fiscal year. We anticipate additional contracts to continue into the next fiscal year and to have more opportunities. Contracting in the federal government is an incredible game of preparedness, certification, application, and awards. But you cannot win the game unless you're in it. So that's why I'm here, to bring you all the information about these great opportunities to earn money and to contract with the USDA. Next slide, please. So this is a little briefly, I'm going to let you know a little bit about our vision. And then our organizational chart is important for what each branch does. I'll touch on that briefly. And then one of the important things I'll be covering is our NAICS codes. And for those of you who don't know, a NAICS code is really what you do. The federal government and a company has given numerical numbers associated with what you do. So you want to know your job, know what you do well, what the NAICS code is, because that's how we program our opportunities. And then I will demonstrate to you where the links are in this presentation, how you can click on the links for the existing contracting opportunities and our upcoming contracting opportunities. Next slide, please. So again, quick slide. This tells you about what our job is. We serve America. From the time that a mother is pregnant to birth, USDA Food Nutrition is integral to that process of assisting in the birth and the care of a healthy mother and the birth and the care of a healthy child. Then we have programs that serve in school, breakfast, lunch, etc. But we also go even further. We have programs for elders and programs that take place during the summer when our kids are out of school. So in order to bring all of those programs and qualities to the American people, we contract for everything. We contract for consulting services, we contract for supplies, we contract for staplers, we contract for everything, and you'll see where you can find these opportunities. Next slide, please. So things that are important to us is that we get the word out, that we give you additional information so you can prepare to provide your bid for these particular contract opportunities. And in so doing so, we work well with you so that we give good customer service to you, getting the word out, and that our employees feel good about what we do and how you as vendors help us. And finally, I want to make sure that I'm giving excellent information and our staff is giving excellent information about the contracting opportunities that we have. And that at the end of the day, when you win the contract, that you're providing a quality output to the American people. It's very important to us, and I know it's important to you. Next slide, please. So this is how we're set up. We have 3 branches within the Food Nutrition Service. And in each branch, they handle contracts for different things. But every one of the branches, and the branch chiefs are in red, they handle these separate programs. And like I said, they buy laptops, computers, phones, they contract for consulting services, supplies, everything. So there are opportunities in here for you. So when you have a question, I can direct you to the proper branch chief who can then get you in touch with the contracting officer and the contracting specialists who are handling that particular contract. So it helps put you on the right track for opportunities, and that's what I'm here to do today. Next slide, please. So we have 4 major programs. They are great programs. We have the Child Nutrition Program, and I spoke about that briefly. We have the Center for Nutrition Policy and Promotion Program. And as you can see to the right, that chart that says dairy, fruit, grains, vegetables, that's one of our products. We as federal employees, we don't create that. We contract for that. So if you are a firm that does this type of business, there's a contract for you. That's what I mean. Supplemental Nutrition and Safety Program. That's another program. And we send out literature on nutrition, the food safety programs. We don't do that as federal employees. We contract for that. So there's contracting opportunities out there for you. Then a program that has a special place in my heart, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Now, I'm an older man. So when I was growing up, my dad was in the military, got out of the military, had a short period of time where he was unemployed and had a family of 4. Back then, it was called food stamps. So if you were transitioning in life, there were certain programs that were there to assist you and to help you care for your family while you transition to your next job, your next opportunity. Like I said, that used to be called the food stamp program. It's a SNAP program. And to a certain extent, that's responsible for an integral part of my early childhood because it was there to help us when we needed it. Next slide, please. And it's also there to help all of the American people. So of the programs in the Child Nutrition Program, we have the National School Lunch Program. If anybody's been to school and it's a public or a private school, you've been impacted by our program, the National School Lunch Program. And it's important for the health and safety of the American people and our economy because kids learn better when they're not starving, when they don't show up to school hungry, when they're not hungry throughout the day. So we also have the school breakfast program. And that's also helpful to our economy, to our kids specifically, because you can't start out your day learning well unless you're well fed. And the disparity between incomes throughout the country is vast. So we take that in consideration. We have the special milk program, the child and adult care program for seniors, and the summer food service program that I spoke about a little earlier. And for those who don't understand, these programs reach from the farm in the rural areas to the classrooms and the homes in the rural areas to the urban areas and beyond. So we positively impact farmers, we positively impact children. You can help us do that. Next slide. Thank you. So the Child Nutrition Program, they produce everything on the screen here. All the handouts, all the brochures, they produce them. Those are done by contract. So if you have that capability, find your NAICS code in the opportunities that I'll show you later. Contact us and get in the contracting game because I want you to win these contracts as small businesses. So we have USDA food plans that are prepared. Again, we're federal employees. We don't prepare them. We contract for American vendors to prepare them. The program I talked about from pregnancy to birth to 24 months, those programs are designed and prepared by vendors through contracts with us. Dietary guidelines for all Americans, we prepare those, but we prepare those by contract with vendors like yourselves. So contracting opportunities exist in that division, in that branch for most of you who are on the program today. I want you to get involved and I want you to win those contracts. Next slide, please. The Supplemental Nutrition and Safety Program. Very, very important program to make sure that we're getting both the word out and that we ensure that there's quality food to our expectant mothers all the way out to our elders at all times. And we contract for those opportunities in the program, including delivery, mailing, everything. So there's a large amount of opportunities for contracts. You'll see where you can find them. I want you to have that information. I want you to seek them out and seek out additional information from my team if necessary. Next slide, please. Now, this is a life-saving program. They all are in many respects, but this is the program that used to be called food stamps, now called SNAP. And it offers nutritional assistance to millions of eligible low-income individuals and families and people like my family when I was growing up that was in transition from military service to a civilian job. And sometimes you need things to fill the gap. Sometimes you're just in a low-income area, or you may be in a state that has a higher level of poverty than other states. The SNAP program successfully, positively impacts the lives of all those folks who are eligible, who apply, and who are serviced by this program. It is a great program, and I want you to know that. And to the extent that contracts are available for that, I want you to find out about them, and I want you to apply, and I want you to win those contracts. Next slide, please. So this is just an illustration of the impact that the SNAP program has had on one of our poorest states in the Union, Mississippi. Now, we serve all of the 50 states and the U.S. territories, including Guam, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, American Samoa, and the like. But this, when you get a chance, and everyone will get a copy of this, but when you get a chance, read about the impact that our agency and our vendors, businesses like yourself, have on serving the American people, on bringing healthy food, healthy dieting plans, healthy information to the American people. We can't do it without you, and wouldn't want to do it without you, because you're what makes us strong as a country. But the impact that we have on individual states and individual families is enormous. You can help us with that, and that's what I want you to do. Next slide, please. So this gives you some information about the impact and the diversity of the impact of the program, and therefore the diversity of the impact that you vendors can have on our serving the American people. So just in this relatively low-income state, there are a lot of people who qualify for the SNAP program. In Mississippi, 53.1% non-Hispanic Blacks alone, and 19.5% of the state's non-Hispanic whites alone were eligible for SNAP. So that just sort of gives you an idea of the reach of our requirements and how you as a vendor getting involved, finding opportunities, submitting your offers and bids can serve your fellow Americans. Next slide, please. Again, Mississippi had the highest rate of individuals who were eligible, and we went in and we served that eligibility, because for us to be competitive as a nation on the global stage, we have to have healthy and educated children, family members who are able to get out in the environment and compete, produce jobs for the American people. That's all part of it. We work together as a human and American family. I want you in the game, in the contracting game, so that you can win contracts and help us bring the service to every state and territory in the union. Next slide, please. So this gives you an idea of where we spent most of our money in terms of the top jobs. And when I say jobs, NAICS codes. So NAICS codes, again, are the things that you do. So if you provide professional services, scientific or technical services, well, 84% of our contracts involve that. And this is the amount that we spent in dollars on it. We need to get our information out. And some people own small boutique services that are mail centers. And so that would be under NAICS Code 49, Postal Service. We have some folks that have some warehouses. And with a lot of people working from home today, there's even more warehousing opportunities. Well, we have warehousing opportunities here as well. That's NAICS Code 49. NAICS Code 56, you know what you do. If you have administrative capabilities and skill set, if you do housekeeping, cleaning services, that's waste management. If you do some other things, that may be remediation, all that falls under NAICS Code 56. That's how much we spend on NAICS Code 56. We buy laptops, phone service. We contract for consulting services. Consulting falls under professional. Phones, laptops, things like that fall under 33. But we also contract for manufacturing opportunities and furniture for our offices and miscellaneous items. And that's NAICS code 33. So know what you do, know your NAICS codes, and then you'll be able to set yourself up with the opportunities that we have. Next slide, please. All right. So why am I reaching out to all of you today? Because I came over from the U.S. Small Business Administration just this past December. And every one of our federal agencies are given goals for the fiscal year of the amount of business we're supposed to ensure small businesses get in our contracting opportunities. So small business in general, the federal goals was 47%. Well, we reached the goal, but we, in my opinion, we barely reached the goal at 49.3. I think we need more small businesses like yourselves to get involved. So instead of the business going to big companies like Minisoft, and I say Minisoft because I don't want to bias anyone with the name of an actual large business. So say that's a large business, and they've been getting the contracts for years now. So we want to expand our vendor base, more small businesses. Small disadvantaged businesses, we had a federal target of 21.5. Look at our achievement there, 7.8. Poultry, I want to change that. So I have to get the information out to you. I have to let you know how you can find your opportunities, how you can get your training, and how you can help me get these numbers up, get contracts to you, and get more dollars in your pockets by participating and helping us in the federal government to bring services to the American people. I want you in this process. Service disabled veteran-owned businesses. We had a target of 3%. We barely made it at 3.4. So if you've served your country and you have injuries or illnesses that resulted from your military service and you own a small business, there are programs. You can compete with all the businesses for our contracts, but there are programs that allow us to set aside contracts for service disabled veteran-owned small businesses instead of giving a contract to a large company. Women-owned small businesses. Women were decimated when COVID came along because of additional family responsibilities. And we had a target of 5%. And as you can see, we did not meet that target. I am actively looking for women-owned small businesses. If you're out there, if you have your certifications, we want you in this process. We want you winning these contracts. I'm like I said, I'm transferring from the SBA to USDA Food Nutrition, and I want to be responsible for telling my supervisor at the end of the fiscal year that we've engaged women-owned small businesses, and they are engaged in the process on bidding on these contracts, and we're going to do better. Hub zones are small businesses that are in areas that have had severe economic downturns. And so states, localities, governors, mayors have decided that these areas need additional assistance bringing in job opportunities. So if you have a small business in a hub zone, I want you in this process to help us. So the federal goal was 3%. We barely made it at 3.45. I don't want us to barely make any more of these goals anymore. I want us to make them all. Next slide, please. And I want to set new standards by getting more business in your column, more money in your pocket by having you compete for and win these contracts. So we have 8A business development plan. If you get your certification under 8A, then you have a certain amount of years where we're getting you the necessary training. You're in the necessary process to become a larger business by developing your experience, getting rated on your performance. And then after an 8-year period where you've gotten all of these awards as a small business under the 8A program, they cut you loose. You compete against all of the businesses out there. So It is a great program. And these certifications, you'll be able to get these certifications by reading the presentation. I have links for that. So again, Hub Zone, I want you there. Women-owned small businesses. I'm here looking for you today. Service-disabled veteran-owned businesses. I'm looking for you because I have opportunities for all of you. Next slide, please. So this is what I mean. Part of the process of increasing small business participation is meeting you where you're at. And that's what I want to do. If I have to come to your organization to get the word out, to speak to you all, please invite me. I'll be there. But part of my goal is to make sure that folks who aren't presently competing in this process get information and become competitive and win awards. I want you in this game. I want you winning from this game. Next slide, please. So, as I was saying, women-owned small businesses are integral to the strength of the American economy. We need you. And you were severely impacted by COVID over the last 2.5 years. We can do something about that by giving you the information about these opportunities that exist. If you can get the certifications and bid on these contracts, you have a chance to win these awards. We can all make a difference if we work together. Next slide, please. So we looked at some great studies, and the Brookings Institution is in this area, and they had a great study about the impact of COVID on women-owned small businesses, and the impact was substantial. And as I was discussing with my director, a very dynamic woman, Ms. Cara Stiff, she's the director of my division, about the impact that COVID had on women-owned small businesses. We were talking about this study. And so I wanted you all to have both the link to the study, but also the knowledge that we understand the impact that COVID had on you women-owned small businesses. And we want to help you by giving you the knowledge and the information to move forward so that you can prepare your offers and your bids for our contracting opportunities. The opportunities exist. We want you in there getting them. Next slide, please. So this is further information on that study. And I really hope that you all will jump in and take a look at that study. Many of you will say, I don't need to look at the study. I'm a woman-owned business. I know the impact of COVID on me. And I understand and I agree. But the study has some substantial information, and that information was part of the process of evaluation that we used to determine that we were going to do this outreach for all of you today. Next slide, please. So again, COVID affected all of our small businesses, but especially women-owned small businesses on monthly sales, annual sales, and it actually took women out of the workforce in substantial numbers. And some of that is a cultural thing as well. Expectations for women as head of the families and being caregivers. COVID really did a number on our women-owned small businesses. We can correct that. So get your certifications and apply for these contracting opportunities, please. Next slide, please. So this is my focus, and this was also some of the focus of the Brookings study. Small business generally, women-owned small business specifically, service-disabled veteran-owned small business also, small disadvantaged businesses, and hub zone small businesses. I want you all in this game. Get this information from me or from wherever else you can get it. Go get your certifications from the organizations that you'll see in the presentation and bid on our contracting opportunity. Because if you don't bid, then these contracting opportunities will go mostly to large businesses that don't essentially need them. They're getting other opportunities, but we have them and we have the ability to set aside many of these contracting opportunities just for small businesses. So if you get in the game, we can help you develop opportunities to help us. So again, to paraphrase Tom Cruise in that movie, the movie about the football player, help me to help you, because that's what I want to do. Next slide, please. Again, you all know, I don't have to tell you, but I want to tell you, the impact of COVID on women's earnings and women-owned small business has been substantial. And so I wanted to highlight that, so I extracted that from our census data for the last 2 years. Next slide, please. So this gives you a quick summary of FY21. Our FY22 data isn't available for another month or so, but the total amount of contracts we awarded, 405. The total money that we awarded through those contracts, that's the amount. So opportunities are there for you. We utilize 113 separate vendors. I would like to double that next year. And we need to start now by getting you in the process and getting you contracts as small businesses, as women-owned small businesses, as disadvantaged small businesses. If I can get you in the game, we have a chance that we can double these opportunities and double that amount of money. That's my goal. Next slide, please. So what's my role as a small business coordinator? I engage with the acquisition team to find out what they need, what they're looking for early in the process. And when they get back to me and they say, hey, Dr. G, look, Minisoft has had this contract for 8 years. They're good. Bob and Billy from Minisoft have been in this office for 8 years. We know them. They're like family. With them, they should get the new contract. So I can say, hey, hold it, hit the brakes. Have you looked at other companies that are available that can do the job as well? And have you looked at small businesses that can do the job? Have you looked at women-owned small businesses? You can't just give a contract to a large business again because you're used to them, because you know them, because they had the contract before, because Bob and Sally and Billy work in the office and you're comfortable with them. That's not how the federal government contracting work. We have more vendors, better competition. We can get better opportunities for the American people and the tax dollar. So my job is to expand the vendor base. And part of that is reaching out to you, letting you know about these opportunities and the small business set aside and contracting plans that we have available to help you get contracts. What am I saying? Take this information and get in the contracting game. Get some of these contracts. That's what I want for you. Next slide, please. So again, we have programs that can help you to find places to get certified. I list that data here in the presentation. You'll be able to do that. And I tell you about specifically what our small business goals are. I want you to know what the goals are. And I want you to know when the new data comes out too, whether we met them or not, because that says if we didn't meet them, then I have more work to do. And you saw the data earlier. Women-owned small business target was 5%. We made 2.4. That's terrible. And part of that is we didn't effectively get the information out to small businesses generally and women-owned small businesses effectively. So we want to change that. I want to change that. And then I want you competing for these contracting opportunities. Next slide, please. So how can you find out information about federal government contracting opportunities? These are sites you can go to, sam.gov. It'll tell you about contracting opportunities that have been posted and when they close. That is available. Has to be listed on usaspending.gov. And when that contract closes, it's listed other places as well. But these are some resources for you to go to find out about opportunities for contracting, not just with my agency, but I want you with my agency, that's for sure. But I want you small businesses to take advantage of all the opportunities that exist in the federal government for the work that you do. Next slide, please. So how you do business with Food Nutrition Service? You can find out what's available by going to GSA eBuy. I have links for that. GSA Oasis, I have links for that. NASA Soup, show you that. And then when we have an outreach event put on by the Small Business Administration, I want you to attend. Everybody write down March 27th, 2023. I'm putting on a webinar. Be there. There'll be interesting information, interesting dialogue, and I'll be highlighting some small businesses as well. Step 3, send me your capability statement. If you haven't prepared a capability statement, email me, provide questions, and I may be able to prepare you a sample to look at so you can prepare your own capability statement. Basically telling me what you can do as a company and how we can possibly work together based upon your skill set. Okay, so step 5, get into this presentation, click on every link there for USDA and look for opportunities and points of contact who can give you further information. Now, again, I want you finding opportunities with the Food Nutrition Service because that's where I work. So on that listing, my division is listed first, but I'm not being biased. If I can help you to find a contract with any of the divisions in the USDA, I want to do that. So I listed links for every one of the 10 divisions. Click on the links, find contracting opportunities that meet your skill set and apply. We want you in the contracting game. We want you to win these contracts. We want to put money in your pocket by your performance. But I have to get the information to you. I have to let you know we're enthusiastic about helping you to prepare and compete for these contracts, and that we have opportunities to set aside these contracts specifically for your small businesses to compete against other small businesses and not the big guys and the big girls, okay? Next slide, please. So you can help me affect the USDA Food Nutrition Service acquisition strategy by getting in the game, following the procedures, getting the certification, and submitting your bid. Next slide. So here we are, folks, and this is the link. On this page, all you have to do is double click, and the opportunities that we have for the fiscal year will come up. Now, I'm with the Food Nutrition Service. So now I won't be able to click it on, but the individual assisting me, she may be able to double click on number 1, double click it. And I saw it circling, so I think it's working. So when you double click it on, then the PDF comes up with the opportunities that exist in each of these divisions. Again, I am the Food and Nutrition Service. So that's why I'm listed first. So when you, and it'll work well when you get your copy of it because it's an embedded link. So you double click, and sometimes it's a little slow, but you double click on that link and up will pop the opportunities, okay? So start with food and nutrition, find your opportunities, and try all of them. These are all the divisions with contracting opportunities totaling billions of dollars. And why should you allow the large companies to get most of these opportunities? So all I can say is I don't think you should. I think you should get into this process with us. So we're going to try to double click on it one more time and see if we can pull it up so you can see it. But like I said, when you get your copy, you double click. And so, like I said, sometimes it's slow. It's a big document, but double clicking it on normally will bring it up. Okay. So we tried that, and you'll be able to do it when you get your copy. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. So there are some tools to help you once you get your certifications to build up your capability statement, but also to find other small businesses that you might want to enter into a joint venture with. Say you find a contracting opportunity on the link, and you say, well, I'm a really small business. I don't have a lot of people. Well, get in here and find other small businesses that either complement you or do the same thing that you do. Maybe together you can form a joint venture and you can still bid as a team, or you can simply team together as two separate companies, come together and bid on the contract. Additionally, there might be a large company out there, and we have a mentor protege program run through the Small Business Administration. If you get certified under the mentor protege program, then you can work with a larger company with great experience. They can help you along, okay? So find a company that is either small, that complements you, or can work with you, but there's no excuse for you to turn away from these dollars and these opportunities. Get in there and submit a bid. Next slide, please. So specifically for Food and Nutrition Service, if you want to find, here's the link for the procurements for FY22. What we saw earlier was FY23. So let's click on the first one. Let's double click and see if that'll pull up.
You can give me 1 minute. I'm sharing just the PowerPoint presentation instead of my full screen. I think that's the issue.
Okay, no problem. No problem. We can go through. So the good thing for you to know, and oh, there you go. All right. So, and the good thing for you to know is these links are going to work. This is for FY22, and it shows you where to go, where our opportunities are located. So that's the FY22 link. Doing business with USDA. You see that one right there? You click on that link right there. Doing business with F. And so it'll tell you about opportunities, give you other information. So that's just one. And then if you go back to that one slide that I was pointing out previously, that's many slides back. If you go, there you go. Click on that first one, double click Food and Nutrition Service. There you go. See, and it comes out. Now, so there is only, if we go from left to right, we'll see that you have to know the ID, the ID number. That'll tell you the number of the opportunity. The agency, that's us. The description of what we need: office management, a call center, mail, incoming, outgoing, scanning, data entry. The price range, $7,500,000. The NAICS code, you have to know what you do, because that's the NAICS code. That's how we put it up. So we have a contract that's expiring, and we're going to have to relet that contract. So there's an opportunity for you. So the present vendor is an 8A. That's a vendor that has been in the SBA 8A program for 8 years, learning how to compete with the big girls and the big guys, getting small business set-aside contracts. After 8 years, you're no longer eligible for the program. It's a one and done thing. So if you're in the 8A program, that is a great program. It sets you up for many great opportunities and many great contracts. And you're monitored, you're evaluated, you're given feedback. But after 8 years, we figure you've learned enough. You can compete without being in the 8A program. And so you graduate from the program and you go out and you do great things. So you go from left to right, you find the information, and the only change in this, and it'll show up when we do our next presentation, is the contact name. Mr. Hawkins is no longer with us. I'm now your point of contact. So it's Dr. G. So you will have my email information on the presentation on the first page and the last page. So, that'll be fine. I'll be the person to contact, and I can put you in contact with the contracting acquisition team who can give you further information so you can prepare your offer and your bid. But great opportunities. Double click on the links. This is how you get to them. Scan through all of them. Find out what your NAICS code is. Scan down. See if that's an opportunity you're interested in. And submit a bid. Submit an offer. That's what we're here to help you do. To help you win these contracts. I want you in here competing and getting these contracts. All right, excellent. So we'll close that out and go to the next slides. So some of the upcoming requirements are listed on this slide. We have them every year. We list them like this. So we're in the second quarter now. So in the third quarter, we'll have similar requirements for each of the quarters. So if you're looking for perhaps a contract opportunity in the third or the fourth quarter, and you want a point of contact, you can also go look at this slide. This will give you some additional information so that when you email me, you can be specific for what you're looking for and what you found and what you think you need to prepare your offer or your bid. I can get back to you. Next slide. So other places to find information about contracting opportunities, not just with my agency, but with every federal agency, is with betasam.gov. Use this website. This is all the information you can get. We list contracting opportunities there. And you have to go to sam.gov to register anyway. And if you're not registered you don't have a identification code. And so you wouldn't be eligible for a contract. So you have to get your certifications and you have to register with sam.gov. Next slide, please. So for training purposes, I just made a presentation at Harvard Business School at the 32nd Annual Women-Owned Small Business Conference. And it was a great event. And a couple of the keynote speakers were female trailblazers in business. One of them was Angela Williams, president of the United Way Worldwide. And another one of the key speakers was Miss Dakota Johnson. She's an actress, producer, and 50 Shades of Grey. She starred in that movie, but she's a small business owner as well. So she was speaking to the women. I believe, well, I don't believe. I was the only man in the audience. There was 1,100 women at this conference. And that's part of getting the word out. Training, well, that's Harvard Business School. Those women were there for some training. But you can get training, and a lot of times you can get some free or low price training at small business development centers. Now, I'm located in the DMV area. So the Howard University Small Business Development Center is the one that I utilize and that I often refer folks to. But use these because you can get certification through the Small Business Administration itself and through small business development centers in every state in the union and the U.S. territories. Next slide, please. So PTEX. PTEX, in some communities, PTEX have changed their names to Apex Accelerators, but a Procurement Technical Assistance Center can also assist you getting free and low-cost training and certifications so that you will be eligible for contracting opportunities. So these are resources you can use if you aren't available to use the Small Business Administration's free services. You can use these services. Next slide, please. Now, I put on a presentation in Florida this year for a women's business center, and it was a great experience. So I listed them there on the right. You see the lady in the pink pink dress. This was in Delray Beach, Florida. They put on a great day, and I had the honor of speaking there at the TED Center. But we have women business centers all around the nation in every state. Work with them. They can help with some of their certification programs that will be free. Some of their certification programs will be low cost because they're subsidized. But they can get you the proper certification, and they can get you the proper contact for mentors. Take advantage of these opportunities. They're out there for you. And once you're certified, you're eligible for a federal government contract. And I have the contracts. So I want you in this contracting game. I want this money in your pocket. I want you competing for and winning these contracts. This is how you get there. Next slide, please. So again, I'm sorry that my colleague wasn't able to be available today, but she's covering me in a staff meeting. But these are the points of contact for my agency, for myself and for Mrs. Thompson. And I want you all to feel free to reach out to us with questions. We'll put you in contact with the right people who can provide the answers, and especially if we can't provide the answers at that time. Now, I will say one thing. The opportunities are there, and the opportunities are there for small business set-asides as well, for all of the type of businesses that I've noted. But one thing I want to do is to always be fair. So you may send me an email asking me a particular question. I won't answer right away, because after I do the research and get the answer, I have to database your question, because some other company will call and ask. So you may win a contract, but then company B says, well, wait a minute, I have reason to believe that they got more information than I was given for the same question. And so instead of you being able to proceed with the contract you just won, they file a protest. And so now the need that we have can't be filled while we reconcile this protest. And you can't start your contract because someone is saying they got a different answer to the exact same question. So I'll take your questions, put them in the database, find the answers, and then that's the answer everybody who submits that question will get. So we guarantee fairness. So I want there to be fairness. I want there to be substantial opportunities for all of you. I want you into contracting, and I want you to win these contracts. I don't want to see the small business goals unmet next year, and I need your help. So help me to help you win these contracts. Thank you very much, and I'm available for questions.
Nice. Oh, wow. That was a wealth of information. I want to thank you, Dr. G, for taking the time today to go over all of this information about the upcoming and current opportunities with the USDA. So I did want to make sure that I just pay attention to the Q&A for a quick minute and make sure that we're not missing any questions that may have already been answered. So I want to start with this one. I think this speaks to a different division other than the food service, but we have a Jeremy. His company is in maintenance and repair services. He's wondering if you have any contracts for that, currently have any contracts for that service. Did you want to speak to that, Dr. G?
Well, so the way this works, sir, and thank you for the question. So the way this works, sir, is you're going to have to, I think, Google this. You're going to have to Google NAICS code, NAICS code. And then for the service you provide, put that next into the Google block and find out what your NAICS code is. Because in fairness, all I can say is that we have substantial opportunities that may fit your NAICS code. But another vendor might say that I'm giving more information than is appropriate, and they got more information. You got more information than them. What I can say is we have 10 divisions. We do everything, including work in rural areas, in rural parts of the country. So the chances that there are contract opportunities that fit your skill set are good. So I'll leave it at that, but you have to do the research by clicking on the links and knowing what your NAICS code is. But we service farmers, we get the food from farmers, we service buildings that we lease and some buildings that the federal government owns. There's opportunities out there, but the research to locate them, you have to click on those links, find them, and decide whether you want to get in that game. Okay?
All right, Jeremy. Hope that answers your question, and we can speak offline if you were looking for more of a direct contact for a specific division. So thank you for that, Dr. G. We also have another question from Candace. Does scientific include research and evaluation? And I believe this must have came in at a specific part of the presentation. Do you recall where that question started from?
I do, and it does. And it does. And to reiterate, you know what your specialty is. So type into Google NAICS codes. All of the federal NAICS codes will come up. So if you type in NAICS codes, there's a company that runs this for the federal government. You type in NAICS codes, print out the list of all the NAICS codes. Or if you don't want to print them out, just scan them and find your NAICS codes. And then from there, click on the links and look for contracting opportunities with the NAICS code that says it's what you do.
All right. Yes, find a NAICS code that's relevant to the services that you provide. And if you guys need any additional information on exactly how to locate that, you need to also update that with your MBE profile if you haven't done so already. So once again, if you need to talk more offline about that, Aaliyah Bunch, Director of MBE Services, I did put my email address in the chat along with Dr. G's if you need to follow up with him and you have a direct question. I'll be happy to try my best to assist you with locating the contact at the USDA that you need to speak with. So I believe, Dr. G, you spoke a little bit about sole sourcing on STARS 3. It says, are you open to sole sourcing on STARS 3? Can you answer that question to give a little bit more feedback on that?
Sole sourcing is basically when we set aside a contract for small businesses. And we have the capability to set aside a contract for small business and small disadvantaged businesses, women-owned businesses, women-owned small businesses, service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. Yes, if you're a service-disabled veteran, there are opportunities for set-asides, which would be a sole source. A lot of times, small businesses will say, we're not big enough to handle this, so we'll team with another small business, and we allow that too. So technically, that wouldn't be called a sole source because you have two small businesses that are teaming together. So it's actually more than one company. And you can also create a new company. Your two small businesses can do a joint venture, which is a third company, a separate company that you two own. But we have the ability to set aside. All you have to do is put in an offer, and we'll identify two small businesses that are interested in the opportunity and determined to be capable. Once I've done that, then I can say, okay, this opportunity is set aside strictly for small business. Two women-owned small businesses companies, I can say, okay, I've identified two women-owned small business companies. We've determined they're capable of doing this. We're going to set aside this contract for women-owned small business. So we have the capability to sole source, the capability to set aside. You just have to get in the game and find your opportunities and compete.
Thank you for going into that a little bit more. Appreciate that. Appreciate your feedback from our anonymous attendee saying that the STARS 3 is a terrific vehicle in general. We appreciate your feedback as well. So it looks like we have another question from Pamela. what is the total budget for your 2023 for the 2023 budget? Value seems low. So what is the total budget, if you can share that information? And I believe they're speaking in relation to these opportunities. So that's something that we'll be able to answer.
No, I won't be able to answer that, but I think I know what they're saying, what they're thinking. But we have a huge budget, but on the slide deck, I'm with the Food and Nutrition Service, which is one of 10 directorates. So when you look at the amount of money that we contracted on, that's just one of the 10 departments. Under that, just one of the 10 departments. So if you multiply that, you'll see that there's billions and billions of dollars of opportunities at the USDA. So again, I list mine first because I'm Food and Nutrition Service, but I also list the links for the other divisions where there are other opportunities in equal and in larger amounts. So the USDA has a substantial budget. We have a good budget, which is a portion of that substantial budget. So there are opportunities galore with us and with the other agencies. The other divisions of our agency.
Right. Yes, please check out all our opportunities. I know it's a lot of information. So please take your time and look through the list of open opportunities, and please respond to the contact that's available there. Yes, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna go to the chat because we just got a question regarding to the NACES codes. After identifying our NACES codes, are the different divisions of your agency visible on acquisition.gov?
Yes.
I believe,
yes.
I think we answered that question, Dr. G. Did you want to go with more? I think that we even pulled it up and we were able to click on the links that will show you the different divisions and those contacts
Yes.
for that division.
Absolutely. Their folks have been there. So there'll be contacts, people that you can email to contact to ask specific questions about the contracts. And then we'll have industry days where you can even ask more detailed questions about contracting opportunities. And so when I set up and finalize the industry day, I'll send that out to Ms. Bunch so you all will have that information.
Yes, guys, please stay tuned for the information coming out about the industry days. We will try to do a targeted search and make sure that we send it to those specific industries that's that is involved. Let me see. We have another question I want to make sure that we get to. How do we go about finding if we are a hub zone? And I believe, so Dr. G, you want to take up on this? I believe it goes by your zip code, but is there a certain website where our attendees are able to identify if they're in a hub zone area, if they're servicing in a hub zone area?
Normally, it's an area that has a history of a depressed economic environment, and you can find out that information from your local government.
Okay.
Yeah, your local government will know, your mayor's office will know, and the governor's office will know, because governors now have the opportunity to designate a particular area as a hub zone to help bring in federal dollars. That changed last year. So your city, town, and state governments can give you that information. But like I said, hub zones are normally in areas that have a history of being economically depressed. Rural areas where there are very little jobs, urban areas where there are not as many jobs as there has been historically. That's what makes it a hub zone. But you can also get that information from any SBA office.
Yes. And I just added that to the chat, the link, because I was going to say, look, you guys giving me an idea for my next Secure the Bag. I'll definitely usually do a quarterly update with the SBA. So we may do a specific webinar on Hub Zone, because this is something that's available to everyone that's serving in those areas. So please check out the link. If you need more information, I'll be happy to connect you with the SBA rep in your specific region. So thank you for that question. I already have capability statements and I already have my NACES codes. That's perfect. Anybody need an example of a capability statement, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to share that information with you, or a template or a sample of what that looks like.
Excellent.
And also I have another, I think I have like 2 more questions. So let me just see if I can get to these. Thanks for the session. If a procurement requirement is not exactly matching the services or NACES codes, small businesses could that their current product, but a very close match to our offering and interest, whether we are allowed to bid such opportunities or we are allowed to strictly only the matching service codes that we offer. Okay, I think they're trying to ask if they have a specific opportunity that they're looking to go after, would they be able to fit the criteria or go after that opportunity even if their NACES codes for their business does not match? I believe that's what they're trying to ask.
Okay, so I'm not certain on that, but your NAICS code, you can have more than one NAICS code. And a lot of people don't realize that. You can have a primary NAICS code, secondary NAICS code. All you have to have is one of the NAICS codes that are applicable to the opportunity. And if it's listed in your registration with sam.gov, then that makes you eligible. So,
okay.
So that's the thing. So they have to also, if they follow all the process and they know their NAICS code, they still have to be on sam.gov with all their information, their point of contact, and a listing of their NAICS code. And so that's what you need to do to be able to get in the game.
Thank you. And I think Dr. G answered that perfectly, just to make sure that you're understanding that when you have your services or commodities that you provide for the products or services or whatever that you provide for your company, you're not exclusive to just one NACES code. If you look on the NACES code website, it will let you know of all of the NACES codes that's related to the services you provide. So if you are a promotion company and you also do marketing and you also do other services that fall underneath, you can just explore it on that website and it'll let you know everything that's related to the services you provide. You need to list them on your profile and you need to list them on your sam.gov profile as well, so that you'll be able to have access and receive updates and notifications for all of those different services that you provide. So if you have any more questions about that, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to go into more on how to bring visibility to all of the services that you provide. Let me see. Can I expect this call recording or slide deck to be shared with us? Yes. After all of the registered attendees, we're going to send you up a follow-up email that's going to include the presentation, the link to the food, the USDA's food service opportunities, along with the contact information for me and Dr. G. And I believe we also produced a survey. Please fill out the survey. It will give us a lot more information on how we can do a follow-up if possible and bring more information like this to you guys.
And this, Dr. G, I just want to add, I am happy to respond to your questions and inquiry. However, I have one requirement. I have to know that you submitted the survey responses.
Okay.
Okay. So
you heard that. Submit the survey because Dr. G wants to hear what's on you guys' minds. And we definitely value the feedback. So I definitely appreciate you guys joining. And thank you. I will definitely respond to this question. If we have any more questions, please let us know while we have Dr. G's time. I upload the critical work of the agency along with my WOSD partner. Okay, so this is a thank you. Thank you guys for joining. I'm happy that you guys were able to take the time to go over this with us. Feel free if I missed any questions. I'm scrolling up the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, Dr. G, thank you. Thank you. I think we were very in-depth with this presentation, so it's not that many questions. So I do want to thank you guys. for joining us today. And unlike many of our developmental informative sessions, this session will be recorded and available on our video library at emsdc.org. So if you missed anything, I see someone asked, are we going to be able to access this chat? I don't think so. So please go on the video library and check out the recorded or the recap version of this session, and you'll be able to grasp a lot of this information along with everything that will be provided in the follow-up email.
Can I add one final note?
Please do.
Listen, I want you all really to know that I want you to win these contracts. In my opinion, in my professional opinion, the amount of small business contracts isn't sufficient. The amount that we achieved last fiscal year, that's not enough. So I want you to get involved, and I want you to win these contracts. So whatever information that we can get to you to help you get involved in these contracting opportunities. I don't want you to think that this is just another governmental agency that's just giving you unnecessary data. I want this money in your pocket by you winning these contracts. So if you don't have the certification and Ms. Bunch can direct you to where to get the certifications, great. If we can help you, great. But we want you to have these certifications. We want you to compete, and we want you to win. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. G, once again. And thank you, everyone that's in the chat, sending this warm feedback. We also, the video library is on emsdc.org. When you go to look at the events, essentials page, funding opportunities, upcoming events, you can locate all of that information on emsdc.org. Please reach out to me if you want to connect one-on-one so we can make sure that you're navigating all of these processes. And like Dr. G said, I want to thank everyone again for joining us today. But if you see any opportunities and you know another diverse vendor that may be able to take advantage, please feel free to share that information with them. We don't want this money set aside. We want this funds that's allocated to be spent with our diverse vendors to actually be spent with them. So please reach out if you know anyone that may fit the criteria to take advantage of some of these opportunities. Feel free to share that information with that supplier or vendor. Thank you again, Dr. G. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, just get in there, find your opportunities, and go for it. And
let's go. And Shasina, did you have anything that you wanted to add? I wanted to thank you again on behalf of EMSDC. Check out our upcoming events. We have a lot of information coming up about getting some training, HR training. If you're looking for training for your employees, I have a webinar coming up on March 7th with WebNet PA. Please check that out. Check out the criteria to see if your company fits the criteria to receive that funding. You must operate in Pennsylvania, and your employees also must be a PA resident, I believe. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out. We also have our upcoming ROAR conference. We're really excited. One of our signature events coming up April 14th. So please check us out if you guys are looking to take advantage of some of the programming that we're putting together. Off the top of my head, I don't have anything else, but I'm sure you guys will see a lot of invites coming out through your email. And we also have our newsletter that we started this year again. So please check that out to make sure you're not missing any bids or funding opportunities. So thank you.
And I'll just close out by again thanking Dr. G. And if you'd like to see Dr. G again, we are in the process of negotiating him to be one of the speakers for our ROAR conference on April 14th. So again, check out our website for the latest information to participate in that. And thank you again. We look forward to continuing to bring you this awesome information. If you have any questions, please do reach out to Aaliyah Bunch. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.